Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of Bitcoin, ticker symbol BTC. And so I just wanted to do kind of a thought experiment here, thinking about Bitcoin hitting all-time highs and just how that's trended, whether in the media or in Google searches, and just kind of compare that with the current price being at new all-time highs now, or at least above the previous all-time highs that were hit in November of 2021. And so before I dive into the chart here, I did want to flip over to Google Trends, just doing a comparison of Bitcoin and Dogecoin. And so here we can see, looking at the trends, that Bitcoin did max out, hitting 100 in December of 2017. And so now flipping back to the chart, we can see that that was when Bitcoin hit right around $20,000, and then it did pull back quite a bit. Actually, let's see, retracing down to a low, which brought price down about 80% before we started to see, run up to the previous highs at, 64, 65,000 and 69,000, which has now just recently been eclipsed at right around 74,000. But then switching back to trends, we can see these other peaks here, one being in February of 2021, and then the second one being in May of 2021. Both of those for Bitcoin being right around 50, trending half as much as it was back in 2017. And then thinking about the current trending of Bitcoin, it's now at 28. So again, only about half of what it was back here. And so looking at the chart then at February and May of 2021, we can see that February of 2021 was really, right around here before we hit these all-time highs, before we hit the top. And so that's when Bitcoin was right around 50,000 or a little bit higher than that, hitting a high in April of 2021 at around 65,000 and then pulling back some. So in May, when there was that second peak, we had actually already topped in Bitcoin, pulling back before making another attempt at all-time highs. So when we did hit all-time highs in November of 2021, we did not actually see a huge spike in Bitcoin trending. Let's see, November, it was actually pretty low. So it had actually died down a bunch then. So I guess, with that, you could think that there's a bit of divergence with Bitcoin trending and the price. You would expect this to be, at all-time highs if the price was at all-time highs, and we didn't see that. And we're actually not seeing that right now, with it only at 28, being above 69,000, having hit a high of 73,800 right around there. And we have pulled back some. And so thinking about that, and how Bitcoin isn't really trending in news that much, people at work haven't brought up Bitcoin to me. I'm usually pretty quiet about it, don't talk about it at all. And so I'm just curious, when do we get that major FOMO? I would expect it to happen because we have eclipsed the previous all-time highs. But, thinking about kind of like, market psychology and what people are probably thinking, Bitcoin is back at the price when, it topped, and then there was a risk of losing, 70% of your position, if not more, 80% of your position. So, why would you want to be talking about or investing in Bitcoin right now if it's at a price that resulted in a loss of 75 if you held it here? So, you see that risk, you don't see the potential upside. Whereas, if we look back here when price got up to that level, price just took off. And so when we did hit that previous high, price went up about 240%, 260% to make new all-time highs. But people don't really see that right now. Bitcoin didn't become trending in December of 2020. It started trending again when we had already hit these highs. And so there was a lot of risk at that point. And so right now, looking at the chart, people probably see that there's a lot of risk because all they see is this downside. And so I feel like there is a lot of potential for, Bitcoin to be going up, 2x, maybe 250%, like it did here. But, I do also think that there is some risk. As you notice, I do have this parallel channel marked here based on these pivot points. And one thing that I do find compelling about this is that if we were to retrace to the base of this channel, maybe coming down to around 42,000, really just being kind of an arbitrary number there, but just retracing to this uptrending lower portion of the channel, that would create an inverse head and shoulders pattern. And then if we were to rally up to test the top of that channel, taking a measured move from the base of the head here up to the top, that would represent, a 54,000 swing in the price of Bitcoin. So if we were to move that up to, the neckline here, even though it would be breaking that higher, adjusting the y-axis, that could bring price up to around $127,000. So, I do think that there is a lot of upside for Bitcoin right now, but given that we are at these all-time highs, I do think that there is also possibility for a retracement, whether that's to 60,000, 50,000, or 42,000, which I also think would be funny, 42,000, 420, so maybe Bitcoin could be pulling back to that, but I do think that we haven't hit euphoria in Bitcoin. And so I do think there is a lot of potential. But, having mentioned Doge, I did want to go over that because Doge is not at its all-time high. So I do feel like there is a lot more potential upside for Dogecoin than there is with Bitcoin, returning to the all-time highs of about 74 cents. So if I just take a measurement from, current price here, looking at the weekly chart, going from here up to that all-time high, just to the all-time high, that's a 265% increase. So, I think that there's a lot of potential with Dogecoin, but of course, this could retrace back to the base here, and that would be a loss of about 75, 76%. So there's definitely risk there. But I do feel like Bitcoin will be going a lot higher. And with that, I think these other coins will be as well. I do think Doge definitely has the potential to reach $1 per coin. And let's take a measurement of that. That would be an increase of, about 387%. So yeah, I think there's a lot of potential with both Bitcoin and Dogecoin. I think that the risk to reward is a little bit more favorable for Dogecoin right now as far as a swing goes. But as far as long-term investing goes, I definitely think, Bitcoin is a great place to be storing value. Yeah, so I'm just really excited about these all-time highs. I'm wondering if Bitcoin is going to be hitting 100K this year. I suspect it will, but I wonder if it could be pulling back to around 42, 45K, forming this inverse head and shoulders, and then heading higher than 100K. And of course, Dogecoin heading up to $1 per coin. I think that'd be pretty cool. But, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching.